Good evening. The purpose of this video is to provide a brief overview of the student and learning coach experience with the virtual K-5 option. In this demo, I'm logged into It's Learning in Ms. Bean's class as a second grade student. Ms. Bean's planner appears on the left side of the overview screen. The teachers in our district are expected to post all lessons to the planner weekly. We will naturally hold that expectation for our virtual classrooms as well. Teachers will have the flexibility to customize their planner just as they normally would. However, we've taken steps to ensure that the student experience is as consistent as possible. To see the entire plan, the best practice is to click on the word plans and set the time frame to this week. There I can see all the fields of the planner as a student normally would. I want to direct your attention, however, to the resources and activities section. Here, we've asked teachers to provide a page for each day of the week that is clearly labeled for the intended day of use. This is like a one-stop shop for the day. Students will not need to locate resources in a variety of places, as all materials and instructions for all subjects will be included on the page for that day. Let's take a look at Monday's example. Each day, the teacher will hold a morning meeting. This could often be a live meeting, but also could be a recording or a set of slides. And this may vary by school, by grade level, and by teacher. A block is provided for each subject that the student will participate in that day. Each block for each subject contains the same fields. There are learning targets. There's a success criteria statement that lets the student know how they're going to know if they've met the learning target. There's a reflection piece at the bottom. And then there is an instructional activities section, which will contain the meat of the lesson. Often there will be a guide that can be accessed for the learning coach. If the lesson is detailed, the learning coach may need to have a broader overview of the lesson and may need to be provided with some coaching tips by the teacher. So the coach can click here, access the guide, and have it open in a separate tab to glance back and forth at as they work with their student. The student is provided with any links to the activities that will be completed that day. In this particular lesson, there is only one link because the teacher has included all activities in something called a learning path. The path keeps the student on track and restricts them from moving ahead if the tasks need to be completed in a particular order. We'll take just a moment to look at part of this path. The student would click the Start button, and the first step in the path would be released to them. They're simply listening to Mrs. Bean do a read aloud, and this read aloud will be used for additional activities within the path. You can see that a pop-up box has appeared, and I've also seen the next step over here on the left. It will always be released as a pop-up and then also in linear fashion over on the left-hand side. They're having a conversation now with you, the learning coach, and they simply click yes to show that they have done it. There is another video included in this path. And again, after a certain amount of time, students will be allowed to move on. It's the responsibility of the learning coach to ensure that students don't move on before they've actually completed all the activities on the page. Here, the student would simply be completing a survey about their interests. In a moment, they're going to move on and they're going to complete some independent reading. The instructions are given, and then they'll spend 30 minutes doing independent reading, which is a completely offline task. You'll find that our lessons will be very balanced. We'll have some online synchronous lessons, some online asynchronous lessons, and some completely offline lessons, as we believe students do not need to sit in front of the screen all day. If I exit, I now have a resume button, so the student can leave this path and return at any time. I'm going to go back now and take a look at that Monday page again. I just want to also point out to you that the student will be provided with a quick daily checklist of the activities and tasks that need to be completed for every subject that they'll be participating in that day. In the specials block, students will either be provided a lesson for music, for art, or for PE. Although this has not been an exhaustive look at the online option, I hope that this will help you in your decision about whether or not to select the K-5 virtual school for your student for the 2021 school year, or at least for the first 9 weeks. Thank you for watching.